The story of us, a journey through time, if you think about it. History isn't just a collection of dates or dusty books, it's a mirror. Every time we look into it, we see a reflection of who we were and who we've become. Long before cities and borders, before money and empires, there were just people, small groups walking through forests and deserts, following rivers, chasing the stars, trying to survive another day. They had no flags, no nations, no written words, but they had stories. Around firelight, they spoke of the sun, the moon, and the spirits of the land. Those stories were their first history books, told by memory, carried by generations. Then came the first spark of civilization. Mesopotamia, what we now call Iraq, became the cradle of human order. People learned to grow food instead of just hunt it. Villages turned into cities. They built temples, wrote on clay tablets, and created laws to hold society together. For the first time, humans realized that ideas could last longer than people. In Egypt, the Nile shaped an entire world. The pyramids rose not just as tombs, but as symbols of eternity. Pharaohs ruled as living gods, and scribes carved their names into stone so they would never be forgotten. Every block of limestone, every hieroglyph was a message to the future. We existed across the seas, in the Indus Valley. Cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro had running water, drainage systems, and organized trade long before most of the world even dreamed of it. Their scripts remain undeciphered, but their silence speaks volumes about how advanced they were. And then came China, with its dynasties that built not only walls of stone, but walls of wisdom. Confucianism, Taoism, the idea that balance and virtue could hold a nation together. In Greece, humans learned to question everything. Philosophers walked the streets, asking what truth really meant, what justice was, and why we exist. In Rome, discipline became destiny. A small city became an empire that ruled for centuries. Its roads, laws, and languages still shaping our world today. But history is not made only of triumph. When Rome fell, darkness spread across Europe. Yet even then, light flickered, monks copied books by candlelight, artists drew in secret. The seeds of the Renaissance were being planted in the soil of struggle. Meanwhile, across oceans, great civilizations flourished. The Mayans and Aztecs built pyramids that aligned with the stars. The Inca carved cities into mountains. Africa had kingdoms of gold and wisdom. Mali, Songhai, Ethiopia trading, building, and teaching when Europe was still finding its way. In the Middle East, scholars preserved ancient knowledge and expanded it. Algebra, medicine, astronomy all advanced under a sky filled with Arabic stars. Then came the age of exploration. Sailors crossed oceans, chasing dreams and gold, but also spreading empires and pain. History became both discovery and conquest. For every new land charted, another culture was erased. The world became connected, but at a cost. As centuries turned, revolutions rose: scientific, industrial, and social. Humans began to question not only the world, but themselves. Machines replaced hands, ideas replaced kings, and voices once silenced began to rise. The American Revolution, the French Revolution, people shouting for freedom, equality, and change. The 20th century arrived like a storm. It was an age of speed, of invention, of war. Airplanes, telephones, electricity. Humanity touched the sky and split the atom. But the same hands that built also destroyed. 2 world wars scarred the planet, millions lost, and yet the world rebuilt itself again. In the ashes of conflict came the dream of peace. The United Nations was born. Nations rose from colonization. Civil rights movements demanded humanity where it was denied. Women found their voice. The fight for equality became not just political but deeply personal, and now here we are. The digital age, we carry the knowledge of all history in our pockets. A device the size of a hand can hold every book ever written, every song ever sung. We can speak across oceans instantly. But with this power comes confusion. We have more information than wisdom, more connection than compassion. We can reach the world, yet still feel alone. So what does history teach us? That progress isn't just about invention or discovery, it's about understanding it. Every age thought it was the most advanced, the most enlightened, and every age made mistakes it couldn't see until it was too late. Maybe the purpose of history isn't to remember every fact or every name. Maybe it's to listen, to understand that we're part of something vast and fragile, that the same curiosity that lit the first fire still burns in us, that every era, every culture, every person who came before shaped a part of who we are today. When we look back at the ruins, the writings, the faded photos, we're not just looking at the past, we're looking at ourselves. Because history isn't behind us, it's within us. Every word we speak, every decision we make, becomes part of it. And one day, someone will read about us, about how we lived, what we created, what we destroyed, what we believed in. They'll study our time and say, this was their age, the age of endless possibility and fragile hope. So, before the future turns our stories into ruins, maybe we should ask, what do we want to be remembered for? What part of our story will echo through time? Because history isn't finished. It's still being written right now by us.